Yeah, we're doing that again. Nah, I just recorded like a half hour, but then I was like, fuck it, you know what? I like where I was going with everything I was saying. Like, it was really awesome. See, now the issue is that when I fucking record these things, this is the third time I'm recording this. Not because I'm like, no, because I'm being a picky Pete. Because I was 10 minutes in, and then my fucking alarm went off, and it cut off the recording, and I had to start recording it again. But, no, but I mean, for the past hour and 15 minutes, I probably recorded and deleted like my favorite hour and 15 minutes. And it's all gone now. Well, I mean, it's still with me. So if I reference anything that doesn't make any sense, it's because I've been talking to myself this whole time. Because like I told my Ivory brother, is like, just because I'm talking to you doesn't mean I'm talking to you. I'm talking to me too. I'm talking to us. And everything coming out of my mouth, I need to hear it just as much as you do. And if you don't want to hear it, you don't have to hear it. But I'm on the verge of a fucking breakthrough, and this is kind of helping right now. So if something comes up and you go, what? Huh? This wasn't even for you to be watching in the first place. I don't even know who the fuck you are. I'm just living a little delusional thing in my head that there's a potential that other people are gonna eventually find their way here, because I keep on seeing some motherfucker watching these goddamn things. But you're not a motherfucker. I mean, I'm just a little worked up. No, originally I came out here to talk about my idea of investing, but it just kind of, it got a little unhinged for a little while. It didn't get unhinged. It's just, I talk in a really chaotic way if I'm left to my own devices like this. So I just bounce around all over the place because I get pulled down a fucking thought, and it's like, all right, we're going down that way now. I know we were going over there, but now we got to stop over here. Why? I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm not going to know until after we get to the end. And who knows, maybe it's not even going to mean anything for you, but apparently it means something to me because my mind wants me to go there for a reason or two. So, fuck it, you're coming with. Enjoy the ride. I was talking about fucking investing in yourself. But I guess that really is going to depend on who's hearing me say that. Like, depends on where you're at in your head, where you're at in your life. How the fuck do you invest in yourself? You have nothing to invest in. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. It's like, if you're coming at it from that approach, like, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. But the approach I'm coming at it from is that what I have to invest in is things that matter to me, things that I enjoy doing, and not just fucking around, fucking off, but actually doing what I feel is work, what's work for me. Which is working towards getting paid to work for myself. Well, not even work for myself, to work for my company. Company runs itself. I'm just a guy. The company tells me what to do. How about that? Which isn't not true. Now I'm listening to L7. It's like kind of bringing me down a little bit. We'll turn it off. It's on radio. All right. This is better. Investing in yourself. What do you like to do? Got hobbies? Little passions, little desires, little pet projects that you don't tell anybody about? You can invest in that. Take the shit that you would invest in fucking some jabroni stock and then put it into your own stock. Stock up on skills that actually make you better at whatever the fuck it is that you do. Like this. Right? I paid my phone bill. I invested my phone bill. So that I can invest time talking and listening to myself while recording myself. This is like a fucking dream come true. Because you know who says the best stuff ever? Me. That's why I love listening to the sound of my own voice. So because I love the sound of my own voice, there's at least one other human being that loves the sound of my own voice too. Well, my voice. And thinks that all the things I say are just as amazing as I think they are. But I'm biased. I'm the product of all the shit that I say. And being the first person observer of everything that I experience because of the shit that I do and say, I can confidently say all of my investments are paying off lovely dividends. Maybe not ones and zeros, but here's the thing: you're going to focus on money, then you're just doing a job. And what do you want to do? Do you want to work? Do you want to like work for yourself, or do you want to work for somebody else? But if you're going to work for yourself, what are you going to do? I don't have a business idea. Figure out, invest some time and thought and mental calories into how to turn your hobby into a job. Oh, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. Okay. Where are you going to get the money from? I don't know. How about your job? I got to pay bills. Put the bills on hold. Pay them off in advance so you don't have to worry about them for a little bit. That's what I did. After I quit my job to follow a career as a fucking mystical oracle, I paid my electric and my cable bill like 3 months in advance because I knew this wasn't going to be an easy fix. What about your mortgage? The mortgage? Fuck it. In New Jersey, where I live, at the time, the average length of a foreclosure was between 5 and 8 years. I'm good. Especially if this starts working out the way that I see it working out in my head, which is me getting progressively better. And as I get progressively better, people are more willing to give me their money to do what I'm doing for free. Because a question I had to start asking myself was, would you be doing what you're doing if you weren't getting paid to be doing what you're doing? No. I love my job, but I don't love it that much. I ain't working for fucking charity. As a matter of fact, the only reason I'm fucking working it is because I gotta fucking pay these fucking bills I hate paying. So, why don't I take the worst advice that nobody would give me and stop paying them? And see what happens. Because if I don't have to fucking worry about them, then I can then redirect that energy into something else. How about directing that energy into something more productive that's helping me further along my new career line. Okay, that's a really good idea. That sounds like a sound investment. I approve. And then it got to a point where, again, I wasn't making money, but I was getting tired of this stigma of being unemployed because it was infecting my brain too, because I know what I'm doing. I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. But it's not entirely clear to other people because it's not an easy thing to be clear about, especially when you get into the line of work that I'm in, because it's not conventional in any way, shape of the imagination. And I have a very colorful one. So I can understand why it would come off as, huh? You what? I barely have the words to explain it to myself because I don't really know sometimes. Because sometimes things look like they're going this way, other times they look like they're going this way, other times they're going that way, sometimes they're going fucking backwards. And it's like, what the fuck? The best equivalency I can think of is driving down a dark highway with no headlights on and no street lights. The street lights only come on after you pass them. So you can kind of see where you came from, but you got no fucking clue where the fuck you're going. You just have to fucking trust that you're not going to crash into a fiery mess. Even when it feels like you already are. Like, it's a goddamn nightmare to fight for and claim some form of sovereignty in your life. It's not easy, but that's the point of it. It's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And to one degree or another, at least from where I see things, I see people everyone doing the same thing. And it's not that it's a bad thing, but when everybody's doing the same exact thing, everybody's getting the same exact results. Or at least you can see the results that everybody else is getting. Like I was just in this business accelerator course that I got kicked out of after 24 hours. But for a minute, I was all bent out of shape. Because I'm thinking to myself, like, be authentic, be yourself. So I was authentic in myself. And what the fuck did I say wrong? I did make it to one phone call, though. One group call. A Zoom chat. And there was over 2,000 people in there. What? And mind you, this was free. This was quote a beta. Now, mind you, those numbers could have been fudged. I don't really know. But let's just presume that they're not. And 2,000 people showed up to a fucking business accelerator course. And now, mind you, these guys that were hosting it, I had been working with them for a couple years. And for the most part, from what I was gathering from that first phone call, is that we're going to be doing a lot of the same shit we did in all the other programs, which is just releasing emotional blocks, emotional and mental blocks, doing fucking deep meditations. That's fucking awesome. But what about business entities? What are positive aspects of having a business in the first place? But I mean, to me, these guys doing a workshop with these guys is like going to a fucking a timeshare meeting. Unless you're like fully invested, you're just hearing the same spiel over and over again. So the other day I was out here and I was doing like just a little bit of mental math, and I kind of calculated that in the hour and a half I spent recording these videos, right? And again, like the reason for doing this is not so much to gain an audience as much as to boost my own morale, in the sense that, holy shit, I'm actually doing something. I'm doing something with it. It's not just sitting in my diaries. But I'm also feeding into the parts of me that actually enjoy doing shit like this, because I'm an egomaniac. I love myself. I'm in love with myself. I literally am in love with myself. I jerk off in front of the mirror while looking at myself in the eyes. I mean, granted, mind that's a whole other thing. It's like mirror magic mixed with sex magic. That's a whole thing. Because it's not about watching porn or, well, I mean, you count yourself as porn. But the idea is to get an idea for what it is you're trying to achieve and rewarding the thought process, because the mind takes some twists and turns during the process. Well, there's a whole spiritual, metaphysical concept behind it. I mean, technically it's supposed to be two people doing it, but it can be done with one person. That's how I learned it, was with one person. Does it work? Fuck yeah, it does. Who's ever body shamed themselves before? How do you get over body shaming? Magic. Sex magic. And the inclusion of mirror magic in there as well is like, all right, that's like the fucking cherry on top. But no, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, I would imagine, like, if there was another person, that would be. But it's like one of those things. Sometimes you gotta survive. You gotta survive the fucking resources that you have at your disposal. Sometimes you want a fucking bazooka, but all you got is a rubber band. Like, you gotta make it work. You know what I mean? No, I just realized that was a lot. My mind's a little bit like, whoa, you just went there. Yeah, so what? I'm hot. And I already made a deal with God that if I have to be gay in any way, shape, or form, I'm the only man that I'm willing to be gay for. So I'll let that be my cross to bear. So when I get to do shit like this, like in my head, there's a lot of things going on because, I mean, I might as well just throw it out there because I'm psychic too. So the one thing about being psychic is that you're always surrounded by things that aren't human. But there's a benefit to it because if you have any kind of voices in your head, right? You ever hear those fucking intrusive voices that come through? Yeah. And yeah, we can argue that there's just parts of the psyche, which fine, that works. We can work with that. But the idea is to actually build a rapport with them and actually have a relationship with them so that I love you too. So that eventually you make nice with them, because in the old days, all of these voices, these presences I feel in my head, because what I'm feeling right now, let me try to explain instead. Do you know what it feels like when you feel like people are watching you? Like that's what I feel like right now. I feel like that uncomfortable, like I don't know where it's coming from, but I feel like there's eyes on me everywhere, which is really uncomfortable. But we can work with that. That's not a bad thing. Because okay, let's say all those eyes that are watching you are hanging on to every single word and drooling for more of the fucking delicious fucking godlike wisdom that you're spewing right now. All right. Well, that sounds a lot better than people standing behind me with fucking knives behind their back. I love that idea. Now, is that so? No. Well, I mean, technically no, because I'm still recording this. This isn't. By the time anybody even sees this, because you got what do we got? We got another 12 minutes on this. Then I got that other phone that's got another hour on it. So we're talking like at least another hour and 15 minutes of me going on like this. But then I also got to go home, upload this shit, and I'm not in a fucking rush to do it. So by the time if you're even seeing it, by the time you even see it, I'm already I'm on to the next goddamn thing. I don't watch TV. I don't watch the fucking news. Yeah, I scroll all through fucking social media. I love spending time on social media. I love wasting time on social media. Why? Because people ask questions about shit that I'm interested in or have some kind of response to. Something that actually means something where I can go, oh, I think I can add value to this conversation. Or this is something I might want to learn a little bit more about. So why don't I say what I know and see if I can find a way to correlate the two. And who knows, maybe whoever it is that's inspiring me to fucking write in the first place, maybe they'll read what I'm saying and get some kind of value out of it that they can add to their own little tool belt. If not, oh well. But I'm going to get something out of it. Because one, it's scary to be doing shit like that. Being a fucking Budinsky on social media is nerve-wracking because people could be fucking jerk-offs. But I could be a much bigger jerk-off. So it's like, okay, well, have at it. Have at it, boys. Ladies and gentlemen. Because I already know everything that I need to know. So it's like I brought myself far enough along that it's like, yeah, no, you're right. I am a fucking idiot, aren't I? I have no idea what I'm talking about. But that's the difference between an official education and a self-education. I'm a big proponent for teaching yourself whatever it is that you want to learn, because you're going to learn it. You're not repeating what somebody else is telling you. You're just taking away the concepts that are important to you so that you can apply them to different areas in your life. And even the things that you're doing, which could be a hobby that you want to turn into a business, or maybe even your job too. But the point is that it's taking you to a place that you wouldn't normally be able to go to. So why not just dive into it and go, fuck it. Like in fucking Return of the Jedi, Yoda says to Luke, you got to unlearn everything you learn. I mean, you don't know shit. All you know how to do is just do what somebody else told you to do. Start doing what you tell you to do. Not that you have to. Some people like being told what to do. Some people are more subservient than other people. Other people want to be fucking in charge. Other people want to be the boss. Like, I mean, what? If there was someone who's subservient watching this, what would you say to them? Well, I mean, I guess the thing that I would say is, like, listen to everything that I'm saying and then don't do the exact opposite. Because I feel like I'm talking to myself. Like, this is what I would say to myself. Like, if you had advice that you would give to your younger self, what would you give? All right, everything that I've been fucking saying. Because my younger selves are listening. They're in there. You can't see them, but they exist in the fucking multitude of layers of Derek and Mr. Toxic and Mr. Demon. Like, Mr. Demon and Mr. Toxic, they're just the fucking polar extremes. There's a multitude of degrees in between each of them and me and Derek. Which way are we swinging today? I don't know. Today feels like a dark fucking day. All right, let's go fucking talk to some motherfucking demons. All right, this is a Mr. Toxic type of day. Let's go try to be an angel. Oh, but I really love the demon part. All right, let's be a demonic angel. Or an angelic demon. How about that? All right, I like that. The idea is to see myself as more than just one thing. You ever see Shrek? You know what Shrek's? Oh, they got a lot of layers. So does Derek. Derek's got a fuck ton of layers. He's got human layers, he's got non-human layers, he's got light side layers, dark side layers, refined Derek layers, less refined Derek layers. In human terms, that would be older and younger. See, we can go, there's range here. We don't have to just fucking stay with one fucking thing. That's why, you know, one of the best lessons, one of my jobs is understanding astrology. Dark astronomy. This is the astronomy of the dark gods from the ancient past. So what I do is I study and practice the astronomy that was being used by the physical vessels that we call gods of the ancient world, because they all practice this. It's not. I remember in fucking like first grade learning how the high priests of Egypt used to fool people into thinking they were gods, because what they were doing was just using their advanced understanding of astronomy, of geocentric astronomy, to predict future events and tell people when there was going to be a drought, or when it was going to be the rainy season or winter season. They're basically fucking the meteorologists, is how it was explained to me. Oh, the sun's going to get swallowed by a demon on this day. All right, well, this is all great. This is all great. But how the fuck did they know that? Because the 2 points in the sky where eclipses actually take place, you can't see them. But you know, they from a geocentric perspective, where the moon travels around the sun, or the moon travels around the earth, counterclockwise, the nodes, that's what those 2 points are called, the lunar nodes, where the eclipses happen, they travel counterclockwise. And it takes about 19 years for them to fully rotate the earth. How the fuck do you know that? Because we know exactly where those points in the sky are, because somebody else figured it out thousands of years ago. They had such an advanced understanding of astronomy that we still use it today and call it magic. And for all intents and purposes, it really is. Because to understand it, you have to unsee everything that you've ever seen before. And go, okay, let's see if this is real. Holy shit, what the hell was that? How'd that happen? And how do you even quantify that? Well, that's another project that I've been working on, that I've been investing my time and money and energy into. Is learning how to figure that shit out. And learning out how to explain it in a way that you can make sense to anyone who's listening to it. Which is why I also like to study physics. Middle school physics, as a matter of fact, because with just a basic foundational understanding of physics, you can make the case for certain geocentric phenomena which play an important role in discrediting geocentric astronomy, or discrediting the value of it. Because it's worth knowing. It's absolutely worth knowing. It's part of the reason that I'm even doing what I'm doing. It's the reason that I'm doing. It's actually literally the reason why I'm doing everything that I'm doing. It's actually there's a bigger school of it called astrotheology, which was highly practical. But it was one of the main focuses. I don't know if it was the main focus, but it was one of the focuses of Freemasonry, old-timey Freemasonry. I don't know if they still do that shit or how much emphasis they put on it, but one of the original intentions with the Freemasonry group was the caretaking of that information, because it was so old, and that it wouldn't make sense to people, because you have to like be able to see things from both sides of your brain at the same time, which isn't as easy as it might sound. You have to have conscious awareness of your subconscious and unconscious mind, which means bringing them both to the conscious level. And instead of seeing one stacked on top of the other, instead skew your perspective in a way that they actually go left to right instead of up and down. Because what you're doing is, by creating a hierarchy, what you're doing is you're putting one of lesser importance than the others. But when you have everything horizontally, when you look at everything from a horizontal perspective, what you're doing now is you're leveling the playing field. Granted, one mind's going to be a little bit more exercised than the other because the other two are kind of like running in the background. But once you have that conscious awareness now, right? Because we have our fucking conscious mind is now fucking big, because it's been the only one that we've been consciously exercising for so long, that now we could kind of be aware of it, and knowing is half the battle at the beginning. Because now that you're aware of it, and maybe not even you, but just even talking about it, in theory, what really should be happening is, I shouldn't even be talking to you. I should be talking to your subconscious mind, which is now planting the seeds in your unconscious mind to go, holy shit, we should probably do this right now. Start shifting. And then once you have that kind of shift mode, it's a matter of learning to balance it out, because the mind is always going to be struggling and fighting to go back to that old programming of that horizontal or that vertical hierarchy system, which puts one particular mind in greater importance than the others. But I believe the reason that we do that is because of the vertical nature of the brain in the first place, because it does stack on, the pieces do stack on top of each other. But in terms of the mind, which are generated from the brain, then it's just a matter of shifting them, because in that dimensional space, because the mind doesn't exist in the physical realm, so you can't actually touch it or turn it personally, but you can think about it.